Hi everyone, it's Liz here from Dyslexia Daily. Today's Facebook Live is called A Tribute to My Second Son because last night was a really magical night for our family because my second son graduated from secondary school. He finished year 12 and we actually had his valedictory dinner last night. So let me show you a photo of what he looked like when he started school. He was the cutest little poppet you have ever seen. So that's when he first started school. That's his prep photo, and it was actually up on the screen last night at the event. So he is now 18. And today, if you have a child that you are helping, supporting, advocating on behalf of, I want you to put the age of your child in to this Facebook Live post comment. So you can tell me what age is the child that you are currently supporting. So my second son graduated from high school last night, valedictory dinner, we got all dressed up. We had our after 5 gear on. It was held at the Melbourne Museum, which was a fantastic venue. There was about 500 people there and there was about 180 students who were all graduating last night, and it was a fantastic night. We got to hang out with all the other parents that we've got to know over the years and been to all the sporting events with. We've been camping with some of them, and hopefully those friendships will continue on as our boys grow up. And of course I've still got another girl to go, so it's not, my school journey is not over yet, and of course the levels of support I offer aren't over yet either. It doesn't matter how old your child is, when they have learning difficulties, there is always going to be ways in which you will need to provide support and advocate on their behalf. So let me tell you a little bit about my second son. My second son started school and he is a bright spark, let me tell you. I remember the day he came home from prep and he said to me, I said to him, how was your day? And he said to me, it was so boring. All the teacher did was run around trying to catch all the children who refused to have their shoelaces tied up. He said, I'd already tied my shoelaces. I was sitting on the floor of the classroom on the carpet with my legs crossed, with my shoelaces already done, and I sat there for half an hour and I just waited for everybody else to be caught and for their shoelaces to be tied up. So he wasn't very impressed with the fact that he had to sit there and wait. This is the child who managed to get on a bus when he was about 13 and travel across the other side of town with his mates. He used to take himself to markets, to skate rinks, where he'd ride his skateboard. He goes fishing. He loves free diving with spearfishing gear and these massive flippers, and he dives down, and he loves camping and being outdoors. So you can imagine school was not his favourite place. He found sitting still in school excruciating. He was the child who needed to move to learn, and I know I talk about that a lot. He needed to move to learn. So as soon as you got him to sit still and try and focus on you speaking, his brain would literally shut off. And I remember saying to him, you're not looking at me, you need to look at me when I'm talking to you. This was when I was trying to give him instructions. And he would say to me, Mum, this is what you just said. And he'd go, you said this, you said this, you said this, you said this. And he would actually know exactly what I said. His auditory memory is amazing. His expressive language is incredible. He was the one that was tested for dyslexia, and when they tested him and did that whisk on him, his verbal expression skills were that of an 18 and 19-year-old when he was only, I think, about 10. I think his first test that we had done in Melbourne for dyslexia was 10. So he had incredible expressive verbal skills from day one. So he picked up information really quickly and really easily, and quite frankly I think a lot of the time at school he was fairly bored, and sitting still just added a whole nother element to him. So what happened with him is in grade 3 he came to me and he said to me, I can't read, something's wrong with my eyes. Some children in our class have just got glasses. I think I need glasses too, Mum. Can you take me for an eye test? And I was a little bit like, oh, okay, because I was pretty sure I knew that his eyes worked, well. I hadn't seen any other indicators other than when he sat in the back of our car and there was bright lights coming through the window, as in sunlight. He would often, I'd see him go like this because the bright light would be impacting on him. He actually found the glare really overwhelming. So I took him off to have an eye test, and the eye optometrist said to us, your son has 20/20 vision. It is absolutely perfect. And I remember him saying this to me. Hi, Kerry Ann, how you going? I remember him saying to me, Mum, that's not right. I can't read properly. Something's wrong with my eyes. I don't think that optometrist is right. And I remember I said to him, you know what? Generally, they know what they're doing. So let's go back to school, see how we go. It wasn't long after that, he actually came home one night on the bus. He threw his school bag at my feet. So he'd got off the bus, hurled his school bag at my feet, burst into tears, bolted for home. I was freaking out. I had my 4-year-old daughter, my oldest son, pretty oblivious to what was going on. We have bolted after him, and I found him on his bed crying, just completely distressed. And he said to me, we were writing a story on dragons today. Everybody else was able to write pages and pages, and I could only write one sentence because I just couldn't see my page. And I thought, something's not right here. This doesn't make any sense. This is the boy who can completely enthrall audiences sitting around a campfire telling the most incredible stories. Why can't he get that story onto his page? So then I took him back to another optometrist and I said, can you please check his eyes? We think there's something wrong with his eyesight. 20/20 vision, of course, was the talk of the town. So Campbell was completely confused. I was completely confused. And it was then that we started looking at visual processing deficits. So in other words, he had one eye that was working really well. He had one eye that was really weak, and he didn't have convergence, and that was causing distortions on the page. It took until grade 5 till we got to the bottom of this. And what happened was, we worked out that when he looked at one word on the page and he focused on it really, really hard, all the other words on the page would shudder like this. And then he'd take his focus off this word and he'd put it onto the next word, and he'd get it to stay still by focusing really, really hard. And then all the other words would shudder. So he literally was taking it word for word for word for word. And this then explained to me why he was skipping the little words like of, in, as, on, and also why he would sometimes change those words. So in would become on would become off would become of, and it completely changed the whole meaning of the stories. And I was just bamboozled. So his fluency rate was really low. His reading ability was really low. So we took him off and we got him assessed for a visual processing deficit. We did that a few ways. We went to a visual processing specialist. We also went to an Erlen clinic. Helen Erlen is the founder of the research around scotopic sensitivity, and she uses colour to try and get the timing of both eyes to match, so that the disparity between the two eyes is not as great, and they start to have vergence. In other words, they start to work together. Campbell tended to go for the very dark colours, and he tended to go for a very deep red. It's quite an unusual colour, deep red. So he ended up with deep red glasses, and he said to me, for the first time in his life, everything on the page stayed still. Everything calmed down for him. The headache stopped, the stress stopped, the fluoro light glare over his head stopped, and for the first time in his life, within 3 or 4 weeks, he was reading fluently. So it was incredible, in fact, and that's my phone ringing, and I'm hoping someone's going to answer that from next door. You can see I'm in my office, it's all happening. So anyway, the red glasses helped him enormously, and the result was a changed child. So he has, as I said to you before, just finished year 12. He still wears his red glasses all the time. He does not care that he's at school all the other students know that he wears them. If he accidentally leaves them at home one day, he will say, "Mum, I can't cope without them." It's pretty rare he loses them or leaves them at home because he needs them. So you can imagine it's been a pretty full-on journey to get to this point. And hi there, Maximid, lovely to see you. So red glasses all the way through school made a massive difference. He did incredibly well. He didn't love school, but he loved his friends. He loved the experience. He loved all the outdoor education experiences he had. He had a really great school experience, and last night was our massive celebration, our valedictory dinner with all of his friends and parents' friends. So today, my Facebook Live is a tribute to my son because he has done exceptionally well and I could not be prouder of him. And over the years, I've used lots of strategies, including all of those that I teach in the speech to spelling code. So if you have a child and you're thinking, my child needs some support, it doesn't matter how old or young they are. Hi Denise, so nice to see you again. You are a regular, I love it. I love to have you on here. If you have a child who needs some help and you'd like to know more about the speech to spelling code, I'm going to post a link and you can go along to a webinar and I'll talk to you more about that and you can see that there. And if you know somebody who needs to be inspired or needs to be empowered or needs a plan of attack, please share my video with them because it's all about working together as a team of mums and dads, sometimes foster parents, sometimes grandparents who take on the role of being parents as well, to support each other to help our children when they're struggling, because we all know that quite often children who struggle at school have a superpower that actually really makes them successful once they leave school. So have a great day, everybody. And as I said, a tribute to my beautiful second son who has just graduated and done incredibly well. I couldn't be prouder. And I hope you have a super day. Bye for now.